Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys are staying safe and warm in the winter weather that is happening on the East Coast. My name is Stacy, and I am going to let Mike introduce our webinar.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Michael Gummel from Paradigm Technology Consulting. Today, part of our monthly ISV webinars, we're going to be taking a look at the Greenshades products. They have a number of different solutions. Today, we're going to be focusing primarily on the employee service portal components, which allow your employees to view and manage a lot of their information via the portal. So trying to take off some of that edge from some of your own internal employees. So with that, I will turn it over to Stacy Collins. And Stacy, go ahead and take it away.
All right, thanks, Mike, and thank you everyone for joining again. Definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your day to sit in on our webinar. Again, my name is Stacy Collins, and I am an account executive here at Greenshades. I have had a total employment with Greenshades of around 8 to 10 years. I did take a little break there in between two different employments. I am a tax professional with the payroll tax liability, and I have also got an accounting background, so it makes me the perfect person to work here at Greenshades to help with payroll. So GoToWebinar, again, we are going to be using that. If you have any questions or anything there, of course, you want to make sure that you have your mic or your speakers on. Today's agenda, we're going to look at what are some employee features, the Manager Center, what are some of the admin features, the available reports, the next steps, and then also I do have a short video that we'll look at of the mobile app that is free with the purchase of the Greenshades Employee Services Portal. So a little bit about Greenshades. We are the payroll experts over the last 20 years. We've evolved from a small accounting practice into what Greenshades is today, which is a respected payroll software vendor. We were founded in 1992. This information right here, as far as how many people work with us, is a little outdated. I think we're probably in the 120 to 150 range at the moment. And we also do employ certified payroll professionals, as well as some additional CPA and compliance members. We do manage and file millions of tax forms each year, and we like to consider ourselves the problem solvers for the payroll industry. All of our products, of course, are client driven. So the products that we have developed and we have available to everyone are ones that we have been asked to create specifically by our end users and also by our partners. We are a Microsoft Gold certified partner. We also have passed the SSAE 16 audit for security and compliance for the American Payroll Association, and we also have an outstanding rating with the Better Business Bureau. We are .NET certified for connected applications, and then of course we have tested our software with Microsoft to ensure we're following security and data transmission standards whenever we're passing that information between the Greenshades software and the Microsoft software. Our Microsoft integrations include Microsoft Dynamics GP, SL, NAV, and AX. We also have integrations outside of that include Aviante, Bond, CMIC, LT Tax, Bond eImpact, Compete, Maxwell, Sonic, TKM, other random that we have assisted in creating a pool of information from their solutions into ours. We have two primary focuses. we have a compliance focus, which is not what we're going to be looking at today. And then we have the employee portal, which is what we are going to be looking at today. So part of our compliance pieces, if this is something that you do have an interest in, at Payroll, happy to the tax reporting, management, tax assignment, garnishment reporting, such as nation, sick leave management, and the Affordable Care Act compliance tracking and electronic filing. Inside of our employee portal, what we're going to be looking at today includes wage details, tax forms, demographic information, time, expense, and attendance documents, employee reviews, benefits management, scalable deployment and license, and fully hosted and mobile application. So employee services, how can you help your employees? Well, we definitely have a few different ways, and of course we also use all of our own products, so I can speak for a lot of the modules that we have here as far as how useful they are to the employee and also to the administrators and managers. The core product is going to be your employee pay records, and that is going to, in the core product with no additional archiving or anything, it does provide the pay records current year as well as the previous year. So you get approximately 2 years worth of payroll history for your employees to be able to access on their own. Of course, additional years to that, additional years are available for archiving at an additional cost. You also get the bulletin and message board, the employee directory, employee notifications, branding, where you can add your logo and also change the colors to be your corporate colors, and the Managers Center, which is going to allow your managers to be able to have access to their employee subordinate or indirect or direct subordinate information. The pay history, it is an embedded PDF, and they can again view the drop down here to get historical information. The pay stubs are basically the generic pay stubs out of GP or SL. You can change, you have the option to set up which one you want to have in here. This is, of course, a direct deposit earnings statement. There's also a check update as well. The employer branding that we mentioned again, you've got the ability to add in here your large logo, your small logo. You've got the corporate colors that can be changed and matched. You can add information to the sign-in page where your employees go to sign in if you want to put a short message to your employees there. The account settings is where your employees will be able to come in. They'll add their notification email address and their corporate address. They can decide if they want to receive text message notifications or email notifications, and then also depending on which things they want to receive notifications on, if it's just if they have a document that needs their review or a benefits enrollment opening, closing, do they want to receive a notification when they have a pay stub that is on there. And then again, it references our mobile application down here, and it lets them know that they can access that on either the App Store or Google Play. The Message Center is incredibly helpful in that your managers can send a manager message out to a specific employee or a group of employees. And then same with the company bulletins. The company bulletins allows either your admin team to send a company-wide message out, or the managers can send a bulletin out to their direct or indirect subordinates, depending on how you have the setup settings for that. You also, instead of sending, I apologize, I'm not really sure why that went away. Pull that back up. Interesting. So for the Message Center, again, those bulletins are going to provide information as far as it can go out to a specific employee, it can go to a group of employees, it can go to one location, it can go to an employee class, or again to the entire company, just depending on who that bulletin is going to apply to and who you want to have it actually sent out to. The home screen, you can configure what information you want to display there. We do have a local weather. You can also have their most recent pay stub information. The time clock, if you are utilizing our time entry solution, you can have the employee directory and then also the coworkers taking time off if you want to provide that information to your employees and if you're using our time off module. The employees can also access a pay details report. This pay details report allows them to choose their pay stubs between a specific date range, and then it does provide them some detailed overview of their hours, amount, taxes, deductions, benefits, and their pay. And of course, they have the ability to then either have that exported to PDF or to Excel. For the W-2s and the 1095s, we do give you the ability to provide those electronically to your employees. If they do opt to receive those electronically, then they are basically consenting to receive it electronically, and you do not have to mail them a paper copy of the W-2 or 1095-C. The consent does hold true for both forms. So if they consent to one, they are consenting to both. And we do hold that consent from year to year so that if the employee is still working for you the next year, that consent will remain until they come in and actually change it to say, I wish to receive a paper copy at that point in time. The employee directory allows the employees to search by employee name. They can filter by last name or by other information and provide some basic information as far as the location, email, what they're in, and that way if they need to contact somebody in another department or location, then they can find that person's information easily. Inside of the manager center, the manager is going to be able to access their employee list. They're going to be able to identify their employee information and then also access their contact information as well. So if an employee, for example, doesn't show up to work one day and you need to reach out to them, or if something happens and you need to get in contact with that employee, it's an easy way on my iPhone app. It is mobile friendly, and again, depending on the modules that you have licensed, you can access your pay statements. There is a receipt upload for the expense reporting module, document upload for the HR documents module. There is mobile time entry for the time off module, and then also the ability for the employee to request time off inside of the mobile app. And then for the manager can also review the time off that the employee has requested and either approve or deny that, and also see what employees are off for that specific day. All right, I see we do have a question. Okay, and so for any of your organizations that have multiple companies, you also will be able to easily access multiple companies across the admin center. And your employees that work in multiple companies would also be able to go to a drop-down to access their information across those different companies. So we do give you the ability to easily manage different companies, different FEINs within the administrative portal, and that's as easy as just taking going to a drop down under company and then selecting the company that you're working with. We also, while I'm discussing a little bit of that, we also have the ability for those employees or those of you that have different organizations and different FEINs to be able to manage which of your employees should have access to which companies. So if you have different admins that should not have access to company A or company B, then you do have the ability to limit the admin access for the admins as well. So while we're talking about administrative access a little bit, in the year-end forms is also something that's important because, again, you're going to be able to upload those W-2s, those 1099s, 1095s, anything like that to the year-end forms. It is online distribution of the W-2s and the 1095s. However, any of the other tax forms you can upload and then use our solution to either print them internally, or we do have a mail service that will print and mail any of those forms for you so that you're not having a envelope stuffing party in the middle of, or rather end of January sometimes, when of course there's other things that you can be doing, especially with year-end reporting being due at the end of January now. Right. So again, Greenshades Online, we have a lot of different reports. You can distribute the statements, pay history details, downloadable employee list. There's admin logs, manager delegation reporting. All of these can be specific to each company, each FEIN. Documentation. So some of the resources that are available to you as a Greenshades Online user. We do have the greenshades.com blog, which is written by our technical team. We have, and sometimes our marketing team also writes it, but the majority of the time that blog is something that is written by our technical team on how-tos and then also compliance issues that have been brought up or that are hot topics. ACA has definitely over the past 2 years been an incredibly hot topic. Law changes, different things like that are sometimes also written about on there. We do have a 1095C year-end form direction, so how to complete those. W-2s, 1099. We do have Greenshades Online quick start guides that are located here, a sync connector user guide that is located here, and then just a couple upload videos. Now for this PDF, I will send it over, or rather not PDF, but PowerPoint. I'll send it over to Mike, and anybody who's interested in getting these links or just reviewing the documentation again, I'll make sure that that's sent over to Mike and you can request it internally through Paradigm. All right, so how can employee services be expanded a little bit? We do have, again, some additional modules. We've talked a little bit about some of these, but we do have the profile, direct deposit, and W-4 module. These are going to be additions that I would say are pretty popular. The profile module, it does allow your employees to manage their HR profile information, so their address information, their last name, their marital status, their dependent information, their contact beneficiary information, their direct deposit. For the direct deposit module, the employees can update their direct deposit information and then also provide a voided copy of that check. The W-4 module allows them to review their withholding allowances and make any adjustments either by going directly to the W-4 or going through our little wizard that we have. Those all will upload, or excuse me, downsync into GP and update the information. Our I-9 module does include E-Verify. HR documents is very easily implemented, and we do have a couple different modules or a couple different types of forms or policies or even reference documents that are part of the HR documents. If you are utilizing the direct deposit or the W-4 module, you have some very quick links that are right here. Those links are placed on the pay stubs because most of the time when their employees are thinking of updating that information, it's because they're looking at their pay stub and they see something that they want to change. So we've added those links right here, including the link to enable those pay stub notifications. The employee core, again, we've got profile changes, direct deposit management, documents, and evaluations. These are just some of the separate modules that the employee, most companies' employees are going to be looking at. Time attendance, and then also the expenses. We've got 4 different methods of entry for our time clock. All right, and Jody, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. It looks like you might have a question. Go ahead, Jody. Okay. I thought Jody might have had a question. Jody, if you do end up having another question, or just let me know. I'm going to go ahead and remute you. All right, so for the time and attendance, again, there's 4 different methods of entry. We've got the web time clock, mobile entry, the manual entry, and a kiosk entry that is available. Okay, Diana, will employer receive notification? Yes, so any updates that the employee makes inside of the portal, then what's going to happen is you are going to be able to set your notifications as part of the admin settings that you want to receive a notification email letting you know that somebody has submitted something. So you actually have to set that up, but yes, we will send that notification whenever an employee has submitted something, and then it doesn't downsync until it's been approved. So the workflow kind of goes, the employee submits the information, then you receive the notification saying, hey, an employee has submitted a W-4 update. You'll log in, you'll be able to see the W-4 update, you'll be able to then say, okay, I want to approve this, and then during your next sync with the sync connector, it will downsync that information and update it in GP. That was actually a great question. Thank you, Diana. So again, with the time and attendance here, the 4 different methods of entry, it is easily editable either by the manager or the admin. So if somebody forgets to clock out, or if they put information in there wrong, they have the wrong question, the wrong information or anything like that in there, then that information is going to be able to be updated. There is, of course, also a rules-based system. We have overtime management. We can handle the, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on what it is, but a lot of the different situations where you may have different calculations or anything like that. So we definitely want to make sure that if you have questions on that, we talk about how we can handle that. The time off requests and balances is also part of our time off module. If your employees request time off, then that information is available to both the employee to see, and then with the manager approving it, the manager will be able to see who else has requested time off during that time frame, either within just the employee's location and department, or within the entire company. With expense reporting, we have, of course, the ability to calculate mileage. We have report and line item limitations. And then we also have the ability to designate that the item is not an item that would be downsynced into GP, so it's not reimbursable. Okay, our information is put in global and pushed down to lower companies. Will information roll over when processing payroll? We have 12 different companies. So are you, the question that I would have for that is probably one that we would want to dig into a little bit more. We do have the ability to do multi-companies. We have a couple different multi-company add-ons to this, and that's something I definitely want to talk to you more about on how that information is set up in GP and how it would be set up in our solution, and then take that to our product managers to make sure that I have the right add-on. But I do know that we do have several add-ons that will handle the multiple companies, and even splitting the information out into different GP databases, or splitting it out of one GP database into multiple companies inside of our portal. So there's a couple different ways that we can handle that. I would just want to make sure that we handle it the proper way based on your setup. So yes.
We should, we can take that one offline, because that's, we've actually done some work for them. We're bringing in the information from an operational system then into one company, and then splitting it out from there. So we can certainly delve into a little bit further.
Okay, yeah, and that's, yep, exactly. So I'll get with you after, and we can discuss that a little bit more. Okay, so, and another incredibly popular module of ours is the benefits management module. And this module does have a rules-based eligibility management. You can set up the rules-based information. You can add in if you have different packages for different groups of people, or even different companies. So those 12 companies that you have, if each one has a different package, or if they all have the same package, then of course you can add those rules in, and then it will give the ability for the program to determine who is eligible for which package and which benefits. And it will only display the benefits information to those that are actually eligible for the benefits. Also, as part of the benefits management, handle the Affordable Care Act compliance tracking. We can also handle open enrollment, qualifying life events, and new hire reporting. So Jody, as far as, and that's another great question, and that was one that I was going to bring up in just a second. If you are currently using our Dynamics Payroll Inspector for ACA compliance tracking, this would actually replace it. So instead of needing both, then you would only need to purchase the benefits management. We would, of course, keep your Dynamics Payroll Inspector online until the benefits management product was fully operational, and then you would not need to have the Dynamics Payroll Inspector product any longer. You actually are even going to get a little bit more information and reporting out of the benefits product than what is in the Dynamics Payroll Inspector. Well, excuse me. One of my favorite reports in here is one that will actually let you know at the time before the measurement period is over, if you have an employee who is tracking more than 30 hours per week, so that you know at that point in time if you need to reduce their hours or make them an offer of full-time employment. It's always nice to have that information before you are about to go through open enrollment and find out that you have, a handful more employees than you expected to have that are going to need that insurance. And so we do also, of course, have some custom reporting. The EDI 834 file creation is an additional service that we can provide, as well as the EDI 834 file feed, which will go directly from our software to the benefit provider. The EDI file, either the file creation or the feed, is required that your insurance provider accept it. But if they do, then it's definitely something that we can assist with. All right, so at this time, before we take a look, or before we do the questions, I'm going to pause this for just a moment, and I'm going to pull up that video that I was discussing so that we can take a look at what the mobile app looks like. And then if there are any additional questions, I'll be happy to answer those. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up real quick. This is, again, a video of the mobile app. This was recorded a couple months ago, and it is, I did log in as one of our managers, so we have the ability to look at all of the modules that the employee will be able to see as well as what the manager will see. So when you first log in, this is kind of what you see. And then you can choose to look at the pay records. It is going to allow them to see, of course, all of their previous ones, net wages, earnings, deductions, taxes, benefits. They can see everything just by clicking on the little drop down. And then down here at the bottom, it does give them the ability to display the pay statement and then either email it or text it or save it, whatever they need to do. The same with the tax forms. The tax forms are displayed here and can be downloaded and then emailed to their tax accountant or anything as well. I'm actually going to jump back about a few seconds here and take a look at, I did not actually have the receipt upload or the document upload here, but basically, again, those attach to either the expense report with the expense module or the HR documents, and allows the employee to be able to upload those documents without having to have a scanner. The receipt upload is especially helpful if they have to upload receipts on the go, so that if you've got traveling employees that manage to misplace receipts every time they travel, I know I'm guilty of that, then this is actually helpful because when they get that receipt, they can pull out their phone, they could take a picture of it real quick with the app, and then it's done, and that is all that they need to do. The time entry, again, I mentioned that mobile time clock that's available. They can choose the code that they're clocking in and out of, the department. They can clock in, go to lunch, clock out, transfer departments. The time off module gives them the ability to request time off right from their mobile app. They don't need to have access to a computer to do it. They are going to be able to see their balances and then also any available balance, which would subtract out any time off that they have previously requested. They'll also be able to see those historical requests here as well. So if they have something that they're waiting to see if it's approved, then they're going to be able to see that status. As far as the managers, they're going to be able to see their tasks. This is going to be anything that somebody has submitted or something that's required or something that's due. Time off requests, again, they'll be able to see any requests that somebody's submitted that needs their review. And then any employees that are off on that specific day so that they know, got a quick, easy way to check to see where they are. If they need to contact an employee, they can bring up their employee list. Again, this is just support. You can also see any employees that are currently clocked in on the time clock system. So that is the mobile app. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of that for a second. And that, with that, I'm going to come back over here to our slideshow and open up the floor again to any additional questions that you guys may have in regards to the Greenshades employee services product. And I'm actually going to If you raise your hand, I'll be happy to unmute you, or you can type in the question and we can answer that way. Okay. I am going to go ahead and move on. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I hope the webinar was informative for you. And if you do have additional questions, again, please reach out to Paradigm. If you'd like to set up a demonstration of the software, also please reach out to Mike or one of the team members at Paradigm, and we'll be happy to set that up for you. And thank you guys again, and I hope everyone has a terrific weekend.
Thank you, Stacy. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. And I will, Mike, I'll be in touch.